successor agency to the Redevelopment Agency, Public Finance Authority, Public Utility Authority, Housing Authority, Paris Joint Powers Authority, and the Paris Community Economic Development Corporation of the City of Paris. This Tuesday, February 28th, 2023, at 6:31 p.m. Madam Clerk, can we have a roll call, please?
Sure. Councilmember Rapp?
Here.
Councilmember Rogers?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Nava?
Here.
Councilmember Corona?
Here.
Mayor Vargas?
Present, thank you. Okay, item 3 is our invocation, which will be led by Pastor Don Meinberg from the Reflections Christian Fellowship. Come on up, Pastor. Would you all please stand and then remain standing for item 4, which will be our Pledge of Allegiance, which will be led by Councilman Rabb.
All right, let's ask you to please bow your heads. Let's close our eyes and just give this time to the Lord. Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, first of all, we just want to thank you so much for this day. I want to thank you, Lord, for all the blessings and for the opportunity for all of us to be here today. Lord, we thank you for bringing all these leaders here to this place in order for them to express their thoughts, their ideas, their decisions in leading your people here in the city of Paris. Lord, we want to pray, though, for the people of Paris. We want to pray, Lord, for those people that don't have shelter to protect them in this bitter, cold winter season. Lord, we want to pray for any family that does not have enough money to feed their families with the rising cost of food. Lord, we want to pray for all those who do not know you and don't have the peace and joy of eternal salvation in their hearts. But Lord, we know deep in our hearts that this city of Paris is your city, and you want only the best for all the people that live here. You put each and every one of these city leaders in their position for a purpose of leading your people. So we ask you, Lord, to give each city council member, each city staff, the wisdom and discernment to lead our city down your path that you have already planned for us. Lord, you show us in your word what a godly leader should look like. A godly leader learns from the past, submits to your will in the present, and trusts you in the future. So, Lord, I ask you to bless each city leader and staff person here tonight. Let their voices and decisions be pleasing to you in a way that brings blessings to this wonderful city of Paris. And, Lord, I pray that this council meeting tonight is guided by you, and through it all you will be glorified and praised. Lord, we love you with everything we are. We honor and praise you in the powerful and most holy name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Please join me as we salute our great nation's flag. Place your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Pastor. Okay, item 5 is report on closed session items. Mr. Koo.
Thank you, Mayor. The City Council met in closed session on the items listed on the agenda. Information was provided, discussion was had, and direction was provided, but no reportable action was taken.
Thank you. Item 6 is presentation and announcements. We have none. Move on to item 7, which is our Youth Advisory Committee communications, which will be given by Jasmine O'Malley, our Vice President.
Honorable Mayor, members of the City Council, and City staff. Good evening. My name is Jasmine O'Malley, and it is a pleasure for me to hold the position of Vice President for YAC. I will be providing you with an update on our most recent and forthcoming YAC events. To start, YAC had the privilege to participate in the Unity Walk on Sunday, February 27th for the Black History Expo. It was a meaningful experience that brought people together to celebrate the rich history and culture of the Black community. The day was undoubtedly filled with educational and inspiring information. Participants were able to engage in meaningful conversations and learn from one another, exchanging ideas and insights about history, achievements, and struggles of the Black community. From powerful speakers to cultural exhibits and live performances, the Black History Expo is an event that had something for everyone. Furthermore, the Youth Advisory is excited to announce that we will be hosting an open mic this Friday, March 3rd, at the Sadler Youth Center. The event will run from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. This promises to be a fantastic opportunity for young musicians to showcase their skills, connect with others who share their passion for music, and have a great time. Moving forward, the Youth Advisory Committee is excited to announce our upcoming event, the Copper Creek Park Cleanup on March 11th. The event will start with registration at 7:30 a.m., and the park cleanup will begin at 8 a.m. Volunteers of all ages are welcome to join the park cleanup efforts. Participants are encouraged to wear their comfortable clothing and closed-toe shoes. So mark your calendars and come join us for the Copper Creek Park Cleanup and help make a difference in our community. Apart from the updates, February is an American Heart Month, a month dedicated to raising awareness about heart disease and stroke, which are the leading causes of death in the United States. American Heart Month was established by the Center for Disease Control and Prevention to educate the public about the risk factors and warning signs of heart disease and stroke, and to encourage people to take steps to reduce their risk. During American Heart Month, the CDC encourages people to take steps to improve their heart health. This includes adopting a healthy diet, getting regular exercise, maintaining a healthy weight, quitting smoking, managing stress. The CDC also recommends that people have their blood pressure checked and cholesterol levels checked regularly, and that they will talk to the healthcare provider about their risk for heart disease and stroke. Finally, YSC would like to remind everyone to please follow us at Paris YSC on social media for more updates and upcoming events. For more important information on YSC or any events discussed today, feel free to dial us at the Sadler Youth Center at 951-435-7230, extension 400. YSC would like to remind everyone to remain safe and healthy. Thank you.
Thank you. Item 8 is our public comments. These are items that are not on our agenda. We will allow 3 minutes. Madam Clerk, do you have any requests to speak?
No, sir.
Anybody in the audience wishing to speak at this time? IT?
Yes, sir. We have Elizabeth Ayala.
Okay. Elizabeth, you're on. You got 3 minutes.
Yes. Hi. My name is Elizabeth Ayala. First, I want to thank Arsenio Ramirez, the Community Service Assistant Director, for talking to me today in regards to Copper Creek Park. I appreciate him taking time out of his busy day and talking to me in regards to that. I also want to thank Michelle Owaga for working with me in regards to the banner program, as well as Clara Miamontes. They have been very informative and keeping me informed of the changes that have been happening. I appreciate that. Also, in regards to some of the items, like, for example, J, I don't think that we should continue to, I don't think we should continue this. If the State House Representatives is being told that they should be at the meeting, at every meeting, I think our city should do this as well. As I see this has been being abused before, I don't think that we should continue. The city can't be in a state of an emergency when it suits us. If this is the case, I feel everyone should be wearing masks so that everyone can meet
Okay,
safely in person.
Ms. Ayala, at this time, you're only speaking on items that are not on the agenda.
Oh, not on the agenda.
Right, not on the agenda.
But on item J, we don't get a chance to speak on that.
That's on consent calendar, and at consent calendar, I asked for public comment.
Okay, well, then I'll skip that. So besides, okay, well, then I guess I'm gonna have to wait on the other one as well. So on my public comment, I just want to thank the 3 people that I've mentioned for their help, as well as, like I said, for Copper Creek Park, and for the banner program for their assistance. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else, IT?
Yes, sir. Maribel Nunez.
Hello, hi everyone. Maribel Nunez. I organize up in Paris. It also worked with Inland Equity Partnership and Inland Equity Comilantras, a local affordable housing organization. And I wanted to thank the mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and City Council allowing me to speak. Super excited of the continuous work that the City of Paris does. And we have an opportunity with some funding to address issues of homelessness. And we really want to urge the City Council to act as soon as you can. There's going to be a funding application that comes out in March, Project Home Key application. And there's an opportunity for the City of Paris to be able to have, permanent supportive housing in Paris. And we're recommending that you speak to a local nonprofit affordable housing developer, Mary Erickson Community Housing. It stands for MESH. They've done a lot of different permanent affordable housing or other housing projects in Moreno Valley and what have you. And what they're proposing is seeing if the two lots of land that you have on 3rd and F Streets. And so I think we'll send it an email, I guess, or some folks might speak a little bit more in detail, the areas that we're talking about. But the two parcels of land, but like I said, it could work to do 22 efficiency units in those lots. And like I said, the City Council has site control ownership. And one of the things that we think, thinking of innovative ideas is to work with a Life Arc, which is already a state housing community development, HCD approved building standard for up to, they have innovative ways of how to do these types of projects. And yeah, just I know we have some folks here that'll be speaking a little bit more. Would really appreciate, looking at different nonprofit housing developers and open to the idea of those lots for those permanent supportive housing. So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Nunez. Anybody else, IT?
One more. Jeanette Bernabe?
Yes, hi, good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Awesome, thank you. Yes, so good evening, council members and mayor. My name is Janet Bernabe, and I'm speaking upon an item that is not on the agenda, but I also wanted to touch, I wanted to touch overall on homelessness in the city of Paris. And I know the Reverend had touched a little bit on when he ended up giving his prayer at the beginning of the meeting that there is a big need to be able to give housing for those that are in need, especially in these times. And I, as a community member from Paris, I have seen homelessness, but of course it hits home because it is at home. So I also wanted to urge that we ask the city to Paris to consider applying for the state of California's Project Home Key permanent supportive housing funding that is due at the end of March. And also taking in consideration the reasons why we need this. Overall, we do have in 2022, point in time count for Paris was 59 that were unsheltered. That's slightly from 2020 within 52, but down from 2019 and 77 unsheltered. So overall, we have seen an increase in homelessness. So I'm here today to urge the city to look into this more since the funding is out there and it could be a great opportunity missed, and also to be able to work with MESH as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We do have one more, Mr. Mayor.
Okay.
Ayako Utsumi?
Yes, thank you. My name is Ayako Utsumi with Mary Erickson Community Housing. That's the MECH, M-E-C-H, that the two previous speakers mentioned. I wanted to thank the mayor and city council for allowing me to speak about working with the city to create more permanent supportive housing for the homeless in the Paris and the immediate area. The previous speakers mentioned Project Home Key. This is very significant funding from the state of California. And the application, the NOFA Notice of Funding Availability, will be coming out in March. And then after that, approximately 90 days to respond. The city must be the lead agency, who is the applicant, And they put together a team, a developer, permanent supportive service providers, and other nonprofits to come together to build a system of care for the homeless in the city. And we would love to be able to have that conversation with you. Mary Bell Nunez mentioned the 2 lots that are perfect, I believe, for permanent supportive housing, close to high quality transit, close to grocery shops, grocery stores, and pharmacies that allow people to, without cars, to live and work by their housing. So we ask that the city would consider building more permanent supportive housing in their city. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate the comments. Anybody else?
That is all.
Thank you very much. Okay, item 9 is our approval of comments. 9A is consideration to approve the minutes from the regular joint meeting held on February 14th, 2023 of the City Council and all the other entities as listed on our agenda. If there are no comments or questions from council, I'll entertain a motion to approve. I have a motion by Councilman Rab, second by Mayor Pro Tem Nava. Please call the vote.
5-0, motion approved.
Thank you. Item 10 is our consent calendar. Consent calendar items are normally enacted in one motion. The mayor or city council may remove a consent calendar item for a separate action. We will have public comment limited to 3 minutes. And this time I'm going to be pulling item 10J. That's coming to rest at midnight tonight, so there's no need for us to have it on our agenda. Anybody else have anything they want to pull? Okay, seeing none, I'm looking for a motion for 10B through 10M, as in Mary. I have a
Mr.
motion
Mayor?
by,
If I may, just to clarify, did you mean 10A?
did I say 10J?
You said 10B. You said 10, I think you meant 10A through, well, the balance excluding 10J.
Yeah, you're right, I put my notes next to 10A.
And
I
also,
pulled 10J, and we're asking for item 10A through K, and then L and M. We're just skipping J.
correct. And Mr. Mayor, at this time, it'd also be appropriate to have a public comment on this as well.
Yes, absolutely. All right, Madam Clerk, do we have any requests to speak?
No, sir.
All right, Ms. Ayala, you're online. I want to be just fair to you. So you were speaking on 10J, but we are pulling it because it's no longer going to be in existence. Did you still want to make a comment on that? You're on mute if you can hear me.
No, I saw that. Thank you. No, I'm not going to make a comment on that since that was removed. But the comment I do have is in regards to your taxing. I see that with all the special taxing that you guys are doing, everybody's going.
Which item are you referring to?
I'm trying to get the, hold on. Pretty much all your items that you have listed on there, you're asking for assessments for levy,
Oh, for our levy taxes and stuff of that nature?
yes.
Okay.
So all the taxes that you guys are asking for, what my comment is basically saying is for all your special taxes that you're asking for, everybody's going through some hard times. And, you know, I'm just wondering, I mean, I know that you guys have to, you know, tax the city, but, you know, once in a while, I mean, due to that, you know, the city residents, you know, are getting tired of being taxed and being, we are going through some difficult times, and the prices of food and gases have gone skyrocket. That it would be nice, for once, that the city would just give the residents a break. One of the things that we've always asked you guys is, try not to, give us a break on the taxes and, the warehouses, no warehouses. And, with all the things that you guys are doing and with elections coming up, these are things that we're gonna remember when elections come up. And I know that when it's time to vote, these are some of the things that we're gonna remember. So try not to tax us too much. I mean, like I said, we're all going through some hard times right now. So when you're looking into, some of the stuff that you guys are doing, just keep the residents in mind. That's all. That's all I have to say.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I don't see anybody else in the queue. Anybody else in the audience wishing to speak on this item? Okay, so I'm looking for the motion for 10A through M excluding J. I have a motion by Councilwoman Rogers, second by Councilman Rab. Please call the vote.
5-0, motion approved.
Thank you. Okay, item 11 is our public hearings. 10A is consideration to adopt proposed resolution number next in order regarding annexation of CUP 20-05100- truck and trailer facility to the city maintenance districts. CUP 20-05100 is located along the East Markham Street. And this is going to be presented by our Deputy City Engineer, Mr. John Porkazami. Did I say that right, John?
Yes, sir.
All right. And I guess not.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. Go
Actually,
ahead, John, you can introduce.
Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, council members. We have Dulce Diaz with Wildan, our consultants, to present the item.
Thank you. Okay, Ms. Diaz, you're on.
Thank you very much, John. Good evening, Honorable Mayor and council members. The project in question, as the mayor stated, is located on East Markham Street within the Paris Valley Commerce Center specific plan that will contain a truck and trailer facility on a 9.5 acre lot. As a condition of approval, the project is required to annex into the city's 2 maintenance districts to pay for the benefits and annual costs associated with the maintenance of the property once it is developed. The proposed maximum assessment for the project is $7,546.84. On January 10th, the City Council approved the resolutions initiating the annexation of this project and set tonight as the public hearing for those annexations. At this time, staff is asking the mayor to open and close the public hearings. Following the hearings, the city clerk is to open the ballots. There is 1 ballot per district. If there is no majority protest, then the city council can consider the approval of the resolutions confirming these annexations. Unless there are any questions, that concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Diaz. Council, before I open the hearing, do you have any comments or questions, clarifications? All right, we're going to open up the public hearing at 6:55 p.m. Madam Clerk, do we have any requests to speak?
No, sir.
IT?
No, sir.
All right, we will close the public hearing at 6:56. Madam Clerk, can you open up the 2 ballots, please?
City of Paris annexation of CUP 20-05100, Maintenance District Number 84-1. The ballot is marked yes. City of Paris annexation of CUP 20-05100 to Benefit Zone 167, Landscape Maintenance District Number 1. The ballot is marked yes.
Thank you. Okay, at this time, I'll call for a motion on the two resolutions. I have a motion by Councilwoman Rogers, second by Councilman Rab. Please call a vote.
Oh, sorry.
5-0, motion approved.
Thank you. 11B is consideration to adopt proposed resolution numbers next in order regarding annexation of CUP 20-05100- truck and trailer facility to CFD 2001-3. It's the North Paris Public Safety District. This is going to be introduced by our Director of Finance, Mr. Matthew Schenk.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, members of the council. Dulce Diaz from Wildan will be presenting this item as well.
Thank you.
Honorable Mayor and council members, this item is for the same project I previously presented. We request that the city open a public hearing on this annexation. If there are no protests, adopt a resolution calling for a special election. The property owner has waived the waiting period, so we may conduct the special election tonight. Finally, once the election is conducted, adopt a resolution declaring the results of the election, ordering the annexation, and direct the recording of the notice of special tax lien. And I will be available if there are any questions.
Thank you. Council, anybody have any questions or comments? Seeing none in the queue, I'm going to open up the public hearing, 6:58 p.m. Madam Clerk, do we have a request to speak?
No, sir.
IT?
No, sir.
Anybody in the audience wishing to speak on this item? Hearing and seeing none, we'll close the public hearing at 6:59 p.m. And I'll call for a motion on the first resolution. A motion by Councilwoman Rogers, second by Councilman Rab. Please call a vote.
Five oh, motion approved.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, can you open up the ballot, please?
Community Facilities District Number 2001-3, North Paris Public Safety of the City of Paris, Annexation Number 53, Special Tax and Appropriations Limit Election. The ballot is marked yes.
Thank you. Okay, I'll call for a motion on the second resolution. I have a motion by Councilman Rab, second by Mayor Pro Tem Nava. Please call the vote.
Five oh, motion approved.
Thank you. 11C is consideration to adopt proposed resolution numbers next in order regarding annexation of CUP 20-05100- truck and trailer facility to CFD 2018-02, the Public Services District, annexation number 16. This is going to be introduced by our Director of Finance, Matthew Schenk.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. Again, for this item, it'll be Dulce Diaz from Wildan.
Thank you.
Honorable Mayor and council members, this item is for the same project as the last two items. We request that staff follow the same procedure as the previous item. Thank you.
Thank you. Council, anybody have any questions, comments? Okay, I'm going to open up the public hearing at 7:01. Madam Clerk, do we have any requests to speak?
No, sir.
IT?
No, sir.
Anybody in the audience wishing to speak on this item? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing at 7:01. And I will call for a motion on the first reading. I have a motion by Councilwoman Rogers, second by Councilman Rab. Please call a vote.
Five oh, motion approved.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, can you open the ballot, please?
Community Facilities District Number 2018-02, Public Services District of the City of Paris, Annexation Number 16, Special Tax and Appropriations Limit Election. The ballot is marked yes.
Thank you. Okay, I'll call for a motion on the second resolution. Have a motion by Councilwoman Rogers, second by Councilman Rab. Please call the vote.
5-0, motion approved.
Thank you. 11D, consideration to adopt proposed resolution numbers next in order regarding proposed Community Facilities District, CFD number 2023-1, Rockview Heights. And this is going to be introduced by Director of Finance, Matthew Shank.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and members of the council. Jim Fabian from Fieldman, Rowlap and Associates will be presenting this item.
Thank you, Matt. Good evening, Mayor, members of City Council. Jim Fabian of Fieldman, Rowlap and Associates. Tonight, in front of you, we have a public hearing related to the formation of CFD 2023-1, known as Rockview Heights, for the City of Paris. This project is located at the southwest corner of Metz Road and A Street. This CFD is being formed to finance public facilities and fees, not only for the City of Paris, but also for Eastern Municipal Water District and the Elementary School District. This project planned to build approximately 145 single-family units when it's built out. The timing of that is to be determined. We were in front of you on January 10th for the resolution of intentions that were approved by the City Council. At that point in time, Resolution 6097 and Resolution 6098. That's set tonight as the public hearing date and time to approve the CFD. The homes within CFD 2023-1 will have special taxes levied against them. And you can see here it ranges from $23.19 to up to $3,139 per residential unit. And that's per year, and it also escalates at 2% a year. It should be noted that residents who will buy homes in the CFD in the future will have this special tax disclosed to them, and they will know the amount and make a decision to purchase the home with the special tax. Formation details related to this CFD. It meets all of your requirements for local goals and policies related to CFD formation. The term of the special tax will be for 50 years, and it will commence starting next fiscal year 23-24. Tonight in front of you, we have the public hearing to adopt the required resolutions, the ordinance, and then we'll move forward with the second reading of the ordinance at the next meeting. So tonight we have two resolutions in front of you for adoption that will then we'll open up the public hearing. We'll have the other adoption of the resolution of formation and the resolution calling the special election. So at this point in time, I will continue my presentation, but that will be the order of the presentation. After the public hearing and hopefully the approval by the property owner of the CFD, you'll have three other resolutions that will be adopted, declaring the results of the special election, approving the funding and acquisition agreement, which lays out the terms under which the infrastructure will be acquired by the city from the proceeds of the special taxes. It also approves the joint powers agreement, the joint community facilities agreement with Eastern Municipal Water District. We do not have one yet with the elementary school district. And then you'll also have the first reading of the ordinance of the special tax. Then, as I mentioned, at the next city council meeting, we'll have the second reading of the ordinance of the special tax, and then the ordinance becomes effective 30 days later at that point in time. So with that, I'll answer any questions before you proceed with the public hearing.
Looks like Councilman Rab, you have a question?
Yes, this is just more of for my own curiosity. I remember the CFDs being 30 years up until about a year or two ago. What was the increase in pricing for maintaining the streets that they've been expanded to 50 years?
No, we actually will be issuing 30-year bonds when the bonds are sold. The 50, typically we have extra 10 to 20 years after the CFD is formed. We don't know when you will issue the special tax bonds because of the status of the development. It could be 2 or 3 years from now. This provides you the flexibility, if it's 5 or 6 years, depending upon the time frame for the development, that the special tax would be for 30 years from that point in time. But no, it would be no longer than 50 years. And that's typical with all of your CFDs, that we have a 50-year term, but the bonds are for 30 years.
30 years. Okay, thank you.
You got it.
Anybody else? I just had you say you didn't have the numbers yet from the elementary school district. Will we have those by the second reading?
No, I think that'll be a point in time in the future, that there'll be a joint community facilities agreement with the school district based upon when the project is closer to development.
Very good, thank you. All right, this time I'm going to open the public hearing. It's 7:08 p.m. Madam Clerk, do we have any requests to speak?
No, sir.
IT?
No, sir.
Anybody in the audience wishing to speak on this item? Hearing and seeing none, we will close the public comment at 7:09. I'll call for a motion on the first and second resolutions. Have a motion by Councilwoman Rogers, second by Councilman Rab. Please call a vote.
Five oh, motion approved.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, can you open up the ballot, please?
Community Facilities District Number 2023-1, Rockview Heights of the City of Paris, special bonds, special taxes, and appropriations limit election. The ballot is marked yes.
Thank you. Okay, I'll call for a motion on the third and fourth resolutions and the first reading of the ordinance. I have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Nava, second by Councilman Rab. Please call a vote.
Five oh, motion approved.
Thank you. Okay, 11E is consideration to adopt proposed resolution number next in order, adopting mitigated negative declaration, MND 2377, and the Mitigation Monitoring and Reporting Program, also known as MMRP, and approve specific plan amendment 22-05052, tentative partial map 22-0529, and the development plan review of 20-00020 to facilitate the construction of a 330,804 square foot industrial warehouse building. And this is going to be introduced by our Director of Development Services, Mr. Kenneth Fung.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the City Council. There should have been an email that has been put on your desk for each of the individual council members. There has been a request to continue this item to the April 11th meeting. That's a request by the applicant for you to consider before staff would proceed with any presentation, if that's the will of the council.
Okay, well, this is a public hearing, so I'm going to open up the public hearing first, call for any comments, and then I'll call up on the comments from our council. Did we have a public hearing now at 7:11 p.m.? Do you have any requests to speak, Madam Clerk?
No, sir.
IT?
No, sir.
Okay. Okay,
Mayor,
comments or questions?
you missed calling out to public comment. We say raise hand.
Did you want to make a comment on this, ma'am? Come on up, please. Will you state your name to us, please?
Yes. Hello. My name is Daisy Ramirez, and I am a resident here in Paris and been living here for 20 years. I work in the mental health field of San Bernardino County, and I am here to represent my community and family to speak on the concerns for the new industrial developments. I wrote down a list. So my first one is the environmental impact. Industrialization often leads to increased pollution and degradation of natural resources, which can have a long-lasting impacts on the environment and the health of local communities. It is important to implement sustainable practices to minimize negative environmental impacts. Number 2 on my list is the health and safety. Industrialization can also pose risk to the health and safety of workers and local residents. Unsafe working conditions, exposure to hazardous materials, and increased traffic can all lead to accidents and illnesses. The 3rd on my list is displacement. The construction of new industrial facilities and infrastructures can often require the displacement of local communities, which can lead to loss of homes, businesses, and traditional ways of life. It is important to prioritize the well-being and rights of affected communities in the planning and execution of industrial projects. Number 4 is economic inequality. Industrialization can exacerbate economic inequality, particularly if the benefits of increased productivity and job creation are not distributed fairly. It is important to ensure that the benefits of industrialization are shared equitably among all members of the community. And last on my list is social and cultural change. Industrialization can bring significant changes to the social and cultural fabric of a community, which can be disruptive and cause tension. It is important to respect and preserve the cultural heritage of local communities and to engage in inclusive dialogue to build consensus around industrialization plans. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, discussion, council. If there's no discussion, I'll entertain a motion to continue this item until April 11th.
For quick comments. Quick questions. Why did the applicant send an email to continue this?
They wanted just to address some of the additional issues that were brought up at the Planning Commission. They just wanted to be more prepared for this meeting.
Okay, but now, like, I think we got this email today at 1 in the afternoon. How come they didn't bring that up the day after the Planning Commission?
I can't speak on their behalf at this point. We're trying to get them on Zoom to further clarify.
So the applicant's not even here?
They're not here at this moment.
Okay. And then, you know, for some of the mitigation thing, they talked to, I guess RTA sent them some recommended changes. And you know, along with the environmental groups as well too. Have they made their changes?
I believe they made the changes. The applicant is online, Lou Monville. But I believe they made the changes that were requested, and if they were not applicable, they responded to those agencies.
Mr. Mayor, Lou is on Zoom.
Yeah. Lou, can you hear me? Can you answer to that question?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Honorable Mayor and members of the council. Thank you for the opportunity to be with you tonight. Yeah, we're very sensitive and mindful of the location in which this project sits, and sensitive to the comments of the earlier speaker, Ms. Ramos, and the neighbors. And so we think we have some additional issues to work through. Wanted to continue to do so, and upon further reflection, thought that additional time would allow us to do so. I'm not sure I followed the question of Council Member Corona. I might ask him if he'd repeat it and see if I can be more responsive if I didn't answer that, sir.
So for a few of the people that kind of made comments, a few of the organizations with regards to the environmental impact in the surrounding area, I believe one of them was RTA, and they mentioned about you know, placing sidewalks a further setback away.
Yeah, we're happy to review that. I'm not familiar with that immediate comment, but certainly something that we can look into, council member, and appreciate you flagging that for me.
Okay, so you spoke about some of the changes that you want to make. What were some of the changes you plan to bring back if this were to get approved for a continuance?
Well, I think we're looking at some additional setbacks from the residential, as well as additional landscaping. We haven't fully worked through all of those issues. I think, like I said, the changes that the Planning Commission recommended were fairly extensive, and we're continuing to look through some additional ones. Again, being, mindful and trying to be sensitive to our neighbors, right? You've got an interesting interface with industrial zone land next to residential. We're certainly mindful of that and want to be respectful of those neighbors and trying to make sure we're doing everything we can from our side to be respectful.
Okay. Okay. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Mayor Pro
Thank you,
Tem?
sir.
Thank you, Mayor. I also had additional questions. So on the agenda, it stated that the RTA was resolved. However, the applicant is unaware of that. Is that what I'm understanding?
Yeah. Councilmember, it's just not a comment that I am familiar with. I believe we have resolved that issue, but I'm probably not the best person on the team to handle that. So that's why I just want to be mindful of, it's not my area of expertise.
Got it. Alrighty. And then another comment to add to that is that we have been hearing how our truck routes are impassable. Is that something that could also be added as part of one of the conditions of approval? Is to do a study, just because we keep on approving warehouses and additional truck traffic without the proper studies that go along with it. And as we learned in one of our previous council meetings, we were graded F on that. So I would like a little bit more feedback, some clarification on that as well. If we're adding additional square footage of industrial, how will that impact our truck routes? So those are all the comments I have for today.
Anybody else?
Yeah, for a question for staff. For the project to get approved, is that gonna help, is that gonna impact the future development of the Mid-County Parkway, seeing it kind of comes up pretty close?
This project is just north of the Mid-County Parkway alignment.
Okay, and if this gets approved, are they gonna be coming onto the Mid-County Parkway? Is that where they, because the routes that we have, it doesn't seem to.
Yeah, this site
To incorporate the Mid-County Parkway.
This site is not one of those. There's other sites that are in process as south, but not this particular site.
Okay, and then what type of changes or mitigating factors did the Planning Commission recommend to the developer?
So they asked for the landscape buffer to increase from 10 feet to 25 feet. They asked for additional landscaping, trees, it further enhanced the architecture elevations. And so those were the things that they've included.
Okay, and then with the effects, seeing how it's very close to the residents, what type of buffer are we gonna have?
Currently there's an Edison easement that's 42 feet wide that will be a landscape, which is a continuation of what's to the north. And then
40 feet wide?
There's 42 feet wide, and then the building will be an additional 75 feet back from that area.
Okay,
With an
additional.
additional 25 feet of landscaping on the property.
Okay, and then did the applicant send information to the residents in the surrounding area? Seeing how it's very close. Have we got any feedback from the residents?
You can speak to Lou. I spoke with him briefly, even leading up to this meeting. They did do some outreach, but you can talk to Lou to kind of further elaborate on what they've done.
Okay, Lou.
Yes, sir.
Yes, I'm not. I'm just trying to see what type of outreach did the developer did the applicant do with the surrounding neighbors?
Yes, we did, particularly to our immediate neighbors, because we're sensitive that we did extensive outreach in that regard. We did have some extensive conversation with one neighbor in particular who had concerns. We did do some extensive expansion of the setbacks and as well as the landscaping. But again, I think we'd like to continue. We think there's some additional actions, measures that we can take that would improve those, be respectful to them, and still meet the city goals and comply with the zoning and the general plan designations. And so that was why we asked for the continuance to have some more time to work through some of those issues.
Okay, so I do have the recommendation from the Riverside Transit Agency, RTA, and they
Yes, sir.
and they recommended that that you include a sidewalk along the
the project frontage to allow pedestrian access to public transit. Are you guys making that change as well?
To my knowledge, again, I don't have that plan in front of me, but I think we have sidewalk all through there. So I'm a little surprised by that come up, but I'm pretty sure we've addressed it. I will make sure that it's addressed.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Commissioner Corona, just want to make sure that sidewalk is included. They're having what they call a Class 1 trail, which includes allow bicycle and walking along the frontage of their property.
Okay, and the frontage we're talking about is going to be on it's not Redlands, is it Redlands?
It's on Redlands.
It is going to be on Redlands. Okay.
I might also note to Councilmember Nava's point, which is well taken and well thought out. All of our truck, we do follow the truck route. All of our truck routing for this project goes north on Redlands, away from existing residential, and takes the city truck routes. But we're happy to provide more information on that when we're before you next.
Okay, so it's going to go all the way to Harley Knox? Is that?
Yes, sir.
So what's going to happen? Okay. Okay, thank you.
And just to add, sorry, if I may add, because I was addressed, Harley Knox that's the one that's graded F, right, for impassable? There was 2 routes proposed on the agenda, which is why I didn't question it. But if the applicant is strictly stating Harley Knox, then that's going to be an issue, correct?
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem. They actually have 2 routes. Primarily would be Harley Knox, but also from Placentia Interchange, which is now open, onto Indian, Morgan, and come the long way around to Redlands.
Okay, thank you. And one thing for the applicant, Lou, thank you for that clarification. I do just want to note that Redlands, or all these streets, if I will, are deemed or labeled as truck routes, but we do have a residence that also use these routes. So just also, since you're taking time and being sensitive to our residents, just something to keep in mind is that although they are deemed truck routes, they're oftentimes our streets that we use to get around. And then also, if I may, just for my reference, is there a set date as to when this item will come back?
The request is for April 11th.
And may I request to the applicant, Lou, if he could remind his neighbors about that meeting date? Just that would be greatly appreciated.
Of course.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Hi, for another comment as well too. Speaking on what Mayor Pro Tem Nava did state right now, yes, I do know that Placencia is a truck route, but what this project is going to be doing that I don't think any other project does is going to be crossing by the park. Have we thought about that? For it to go on Placencia, it's going to cross right by Paragon Park, where children play, and then also the residents are coming across and stuff like that.
They're not supposed to cross Paris Boulevard on Placentia Avenue. And so the truck route for this particular project, if it exits Placentia, it should go on Placentia, head up north on Indian, then take a right on Morgan, get that back down on Redlands.
They're not supposed to cross the park.
Okay, so they're not going to be coming from the park. So they're going to go north on Redlands, make a left on Indian.
No.
Well, actually,
On Harley, no, but to get down Placencia.
Placencia to Indian, they're gonna make a left turn on Indian.
Oh, from
going
the
north.
freeway.
Yes.
I'm thinking about from the property,
They're leaving the property. They
location.
can go back up to Redlands to Morgan, back over to Indian, back down to Placencia to the freeway.
Right. Okay.
Right.
Okay. I think there was confusion because we said left turns, and
Yeah.
we're talking about from the freeway.
A good question, but that
Okay.
truck route was designed to go around that area to avoid the
Yeah.
park.
Yeah. Very
And to
important.
avoid Paris Boulevard mainly.
And do we have mitigating factors for that? Are we gonna ensure that the trucks are doing that besides leaving it up to our law enforcement?
Well, our truck routes are going to be posted.
Right, but is there gonna be
It
like
would direct
a
them.
physical
Let me help you out there. on that.
barriers
Can
there?
Is there plans for a pork chop to force the trucks to only go one way from the facility so that they don't go in front of the park?
That's right. The project is conditioned to modify the driveways at the site so that they'd be restricted to make certain movements. So they'd be restricted to make a left turn movement on Redlands, so they'd be forced to go north on Redlands
Okay.
from the side.
Okay.
That's correct.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Councilman Rab, did you have another quick comment?
Yes, one question regarding the notification requirements. This could be for Mr. Fung. Do you happen to know what particular residents they were required to notify regarding the Planning Commission meeting or this subsequent meeting?
Yes, they were supposed to notify everybody within the 300 feet, which would be quite a bit of the mobile home development and some of the conventional construction on the west side of the Edison easement.
Okay, thank you. With that, I would make a motion to continue this matter to April 11th.
Okay, can you hold on? When I ask for the motion, I haven't been able to talk yet.
Okay.
I just want to make one comment based on the traffic that Mayor Pro Tem mentioned, because I see this a lot, because I live in the north end, and my constituents on the north, and your district covers that area as well, they're taking advantage of all these opportunities that these logistics have done with the infrastructure in our city, meaning folks like myself, I can go straight up Redlands to Harley Knox now to get on the freeway. I can go down Ryder to Redlands, down to Placencia and get on the freeway. So we're able to move around our city a lot better because of these routes that have been created that we would never have done ourselves. So just throwing that in there. All right, Councilman Rad, did you want to make a motion?
Yes, I'd make a motion to continue this matter to the April 11th City Council meeting, contingent on the requirement that the developer notify all the residents within the 300 feet area of the continuance of the meeting.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, a motion by Councilman Rab, second by Councilwoman Rogers. Please call a vote.
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead. Go ahead. No problem. That's all good. Okay.
5-0, motion approved.
Thank you. A lot of good questions on that project, so we're looking forward to hearing back from you guys, Lou, and the team that you represent.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, item 12 is our business items, not requiring a public hearing. 12A is the consideration to approve the expansion of the ShotSpotter policing technology. This is going to be introduced by our Deputy City Manager, Mr. Ernie Reyna.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor and members of the City Council. In just a moment, I'll have Captain Sims of the Riverside County Sheriff's Department speak on this ShotSpotter technology, but just a little bit of background really quick. This was put into place back in May of 2022, and Captain Sims will talk about the coverage area now and where the proposed area would like to be and share with you some highlights of the ShotSpotter system. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over now to Captain Sims and let him take it away.
Thank you, Ernie. Good evening, Mayor, City Council. Yeah, so tonight I'm here to talk about the ShotSpotter expansion. We're looking at expanding it into the community known as May Ranch. But just to go a little history here. So, yeah, back in May of last year is when we installed the ShotSpotter. Basically, it's an acoustic detection equipment that detects gunfire, gives us the precise location, allows us to respond, usually under a minute. So what we see here is, you know, a lot of times gunfire, people don't recognize it as gunfire. People fear calling it in because they don't want retaliation. They don't want to get involved. We have some people will a lot of times say, well, I'm not going to call it in because somebody else called it in. Or people just say it happens all the time, so I'm not going to call that in. We see this in Paris quite often. So this is kind of why we moved towards ShotSpotter and installed it. Our gun violence statistics, I did update these from the last presentation. So since January of 2021, the Sheriff's Department has received over 1,341 firearms-related calls.
Hold on, Chief.
Yeah.
IT, we're seeing the slide on Zoom, but not here inside the chambers.
Oh, yeah, you guys aren't seeing it.
There we go. All
Very
right.
good presentation. Everybody should see this.
Yes, thank you very much. Go ahead, Chief.
We good? All right, yeah, so we have over 800 calls, which are shots fired or shots heard. The remainder of those calls were assault with firearms, robberies, illegal possession of firearms, felons in possession of firearms, negligent discharge, and accidental shootings. So gun violence over the last 2 years has resulted in 63 members of the community being injured by gunfire and 6 gun-related homicides. That's January 21st to December, January 2021 to December of 2022. So this is our current ShotSpotter deployment. This is 4 square miles. Basically, it's right in the middle of the city of Paris. So the north boundary being Ryder, south is Ellis. The west boundary is A Street and Paris Boulevard. It kind of moves to the east there. And then the east boundary mainly is Marietta Road with kind of some cut-ins there. So this was all determined off of where the majority of our gunfire was seen. So ShotSpotter statistics. So from May to December of 2022, it had 31,628 detections. Of that, 264 were determined to be gunfire, and then we were dispatched to that location. So ShotSpotter, they use algorithms through computers, and then humans actually, they will analyze it as well, and then they'll determine to send us. So we didn't have to respond to over 30,000. Also, this.
But Chief, that's the valuable point.
Yes, it
Because of this software, you're not chasing false.
We aren't chasing false. It's 90% that it will be gunfire when we get there, which is pretty good. And we have seen that to be true. So this additional analysis has allowed us to move the priority of gunfire from, we used to keep it at like a priority 2, because a lot of times it's just somebody calling in saying, I think I heard gunfire. With this, it's a 90% chance that it is. So we took it from a 2 to a 1. So priority 1 allows almost an immediate response. So with that change in priority, we've seen our response to gunfire go from 28 minutes to 6.3 minutes.
Wow.
So these are some success stories. These are just 4 of the many that we have, but these are the 4 that I liked best. So June 9th, 2022, deputies responded to a ShotSpotter detection in the backyard. We arrived there, and there were 2 guys that were shooting an AR-10 style rifle in the backyard. So we were able to find them off the ShotSpotter. The helicopter was able to see them, and we moved in, eventually arrested them, collected their guns, and booked them in. September 7th, we were dispatched ShotSpotter detection on Riva Ridge. Upon arrival, there was a subject standing outside. He was detained. A .22 caliber revolver and 5 grams of methamphetamine were found on him. The suspect then admitted that he did step outside and fire the gun into the air. Again, nobody else reported that to us. It was strictly, we responded there based on ShotSpotter. Again, November 6th, 2022, we responded to ShotSpotter at Mercado Park. Upon arrival, there were some subjects at the park. One of them was found to be in possession of a .45 caliber, or there were .45 caliber shell casings found. During a search of one of their vehicles, we located a Glock 21, which is a .45 caliber handgun. That handgun actually was determined to be stolen out of the city of Hemet. Again, no other calls, only ShotSpotter sent us there. And then finally, this one was pretty recent, December 29th. ShotSpotter deputies responded to detection on Ferdinand Court. Got there, we found some shell casings. Further investigation, we were able to identify the suspect. The suspect we found to be in possession of 6 firearms, which included 2 assault rifles and 3 ghost guns. So, and those were the actual guns that were taken off of him that day. Again, all ShotSpotter putting us there. We would have never received these calls. So this is our proposed expansion area. It's 2 square miles, again, in the May Ranch area. So the north boundary would be Ramona Expressway, south boundary Ryder Street to Walnut Street. The west boundary would be Redlands, and then the east boundary is mostly Ramona Expressway, kind of comes down. Sorry, I forget the name of the little street there. But, so again, 2 square miles this would take. We currently have 4 square miles. This would obviously up us to 6. So these are the statistics in May Ranch, all those little red dots for some in the audience, those are little guns. So we had 135 gunfire incidents reported. This is only the ones that we receive calls on. That averages out to one gun-related incident every 5 days. So you see we had carjacking with a gun, robbery with a gun, we had 14. Shooting at an occupied dwelling was 63. So potentially with the deployment of ShotSpotter, we will see this go up because those ones that are going unreported, we will then detect those. So,
I'm
yeah.
sorry, Chief.
Sure.
For the shooting at occupied dwelling, is that like a drive-by? Is that?
Yeah, drive-by, that falls into that. Sometimes just walking by, people will shoot. Sometimes people think, they say, I think somebody fired at my house, so it doesn't
Oh, so
include
they don't
those.
know for sure. So that might not
Sometimes
be
it's not for
Okay.
sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right,
You know,
thank
we don't always confirm that somebody's house was struck.
Okay. So, but what these are calls.
They are. These are all the calls, and this is what people called us for.
Okay.
Yeah.
So these aren't verified.
As far as, yeah, not every
Actually
time do
true.
we go out there. So these are calls where people called in that reported they think gunfire occurred. Yeah, and out of that 135, we don't always verify every single one, no. But there are more going on that are unreported. So I had the statistics pulled from May of 2021 to December of 2021. Prior to ShotSpotter, we had 182 calls. This is in our ShotSpotter area that we currently have. So then I ran those same statistics from May of 2022 to December of 2022. We went up to 382, exactly 200. Well, that was because the 200 ShotSpotter was detecting those unreported ones. So the fiscal impact. So this currently our cost of the 4 square miles is $239,000 a year, and that's for the 4 square miles. We have 2 of those miles were billed at a lower tier, which is $49,500. The other 2 square miles are at their regular rate of $70,000, and our current contract runs through May of '24. So the additional coverage will cost an additional $140,000 and increase our yearly contract to $379,000, and that'll be 6 square miles. The recommendation is for a multi-year contract. This allows us to save on some of the onboarding fees, the setup fees, which is roughly about $20,000. This is what we did with our previous 4 square miles. And then if it is approved, ShotSpotter will break our contract into a phase 1 and phase 2, with the May Ranch being phase 2. So if this is approved, once we go live, the current contract will be amended to reflect 6 square miles, and instead of ending in 2024, it'll end May of 2025. So with that, that's the conclusion. Obviously, the recommendation is that we do expand it into May Ranch. I think there's a great deal of value there. And with that, I'll open up to any questions.
Council, anybody have any questions?
Yes. I do want to thank you for the presentation. It was a good presentation. Hey, I do value that we do need to incorporate May Ranch in there. You know, you kind of hear different things. How many murders did they have in May Ranch in the last year?
So May Ranch, so we have had some murders there. One was not related to gunfire.
Okay.
Another one was related to gunfire. So off the top of my head, without pulling that location, I can recall one, gunfire related.
Okay, and I do want to thank our public safety committee. I think you guys looked at the data; it does make sense. But I do want to point out, I think it's a great program, and I would want to expand it to other places. I know in the year 2022 down south, we did have 2 murders there with gunfire, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right, a couple right towards the tail end of the year. Yep.
Yeah. So. Yeah, they did. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. And then one, and like I looked it up, it was almost a year from today. Just I think February 26th with the party incident.
Oh yes, yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So which could have been multiple murders. I mean, multiple people were shot. So I would like our public safety, and maybe you could work with them on the data to kind of see if there's a need in the south of Paris. I know there's always people shooting in the hills nearby and stuff like that.
Yeah, we run pretty far south. There is an area, the Navajo area up there in Enchanted Heights, Indian Hills.
That's more
that area.
west, but yeah, southwest.
We
yeah.
do see some data that does kind of look like
Okay.
maybe we should expand there, but May Ranch had a little bit more
Okay.
to justify going there
Yeah.
first.
So what about Etenac area? You know, the new developments and the older developments there.
Ethenac, so when we look at the whole, little heat maps that we put up, that really wasn't giving us too much.
Okay.
It didn't look like an area as of right now where we needed to go.
But it had
Shot spotter.
two murders, and if we base it on the 6 murders of the prior year,
Right.
it would add up to 1/3 of the murders in our city. What were the how many murders were there? How many homicides were there last year in the year 2022?
Last year we had 5.
5. So for 6 to 5.
Is that right? 5. Yeah, 5.
And then so 2 of those were.
2 of those were right at the
in-
tail end of the
in
year,
south of
Christmas
Paris.
Eve, and then a couple days after.
But let me say, one of them was a domestic violence issue.
Yes.
Right,
So-
but is that a murder?
Yeah, but the purpose of this is gunshot detection, and they're getting data on multiple gunshots. We're not
Yeah.
saying how many homicides happened there.
Yeah, most of our
Unfortunately,
gunfire doesn't result in a homicide.
Correct.
Right.
The vast majority of it does not.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay,
I mean, I hear what you're saying. I know what you're
Oh,
saying.
I'm not like a-
and we
a
need-
discussion.
and
I'm not trying to-
sure- And I'm sure they're going
Right.
to monitor it every year, and eventually this whole city's probably gonna.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
cover
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
whole
Yeah.
city.
Yeah. But just something to look forward, or just maybe email me the data or whatever on the south, just so I could do it.
the south side? Sure.
Yeah, but I definitely think that May Ranch has, I see on social media, it does have a need for it. But just kind of see what other areas too, because
Sure.
it seems like it's a phenomenal program. I think technology with law enforcement, I think they work together very well. I know that we were one of the first cities in the area to do the license plate readers, which is doing good.
Yeah, those are doing well too. So that in conjunction with this, it's great. Yeah, and as far as ShotSpotter goes, Paris was the first city in the county to go to, and still are. There's a few others that I've been contacted by wanting to ask us. They want to, they would like to do it as well, and they want to come view our program that we have going here. So, yeah,
Okay,
it
great.
has my support fully.
Yeah.
Anybody
It's
else?
a great system.
Great, fantastic. Thank you.
All right.
Anybody else in the queue? Great presentation.
Thank you.
You can't put a price on life. I think this
No, sir.
Shot Spotter program is working wonderful. All right.
Thank you.
Madam Clerk, do we have any requests to speak on this?
No, sir.
IT?
No, sir.
All right, I'm going to entertain a motion to approve. I have a motion by Councilman Corona, second by Councilwoman Rogers. Please call a vote.
Five oh, motion approved.
Thank you. 12B, consideration to approve the fiscal year 2022-2023 mid-year budget amendments. This will be introduced by Director of Finance Matthew Schenk.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and members of the City Council. I apologize, my presentation may not be as exciting as Captain Sims back here. Tough one to follow. So yes, tonight we are presenting the proposed budget amendments for fiscal year 22-23. These adjustments were presented to the Ways and Means Committee on February 22nd, and it was their recommendation to bring forward to the council for approval. A couple things to remember as we look through this. You will see some, I guess, sizable amendments, but this budget was approved by the City Council in June of 2021. Things looked very different. We were still in the heat of COVID. Beaches were closed, parks were closed. So just keep that in the back of your mind as you review this. Couple topics we'll cover tonight is a reserve summary and projection, revenues and expenditure breakdown, and fiscal year 22-23 budget amendments. First, starting off with a summary of our reserves. We wanted to show this. These are 3 fiscal years, with 22-23 being the year we're going to end in June 30. The last two, 21-22 and 22-23, those are unaudited numbers. We don't have final numbers on that yet, so there will be some changes, but we expect it to be minimal. For fiscal year 2021, the second column you see there, we had a total reserves of $43.9 million. I'm sure the council remembers that's the year that the city approved to write off approximately $9.5 million from the Water Enterprise Fund. And since then, you can see 21, 22, we've gone up to $55.2 million in reserves. That was an $11.3 million increase. And this year, for the year ending June 30, we're expecting a total reserves of $58.2 million, which is an $8.3 million increase in the reserves. Again, just wanted to point this out that the city did take the hit 2 years ago, but we've already made it back up since then. This is just a bar graph showing the same data, just a little visually easier to see. The blue is the non-spendable. That is set by the city council. The committed is I apologize, I'm kind of colorblind. I think it's gray. And the regular blue is assigned. You can see that that is constant throughout all 3 years. And then the important one is unassigned. And you can see that increasing through the 3 years. Ending 2021, you can see we were just over 15 million, and we are projecting for the end of this fiscal year to be around 26 million. So we're moving in the right direction. A breakdown of our revenues and expenditures. So where does all of the city's funding come from for the general fund? The largest item, sales and use tax, is 28.9 million, or about 43% of the general fund. Property tax comes in around 9 million, or 14%. Transfers in comes in at 6.9 million, or approximately 10%. Vehicle license fee in lieu is 7.7 million, about 12%. Other taxes at 6.2 million, 9%. And cannabis tax at 5 million, or 8%. And lastly, the franchise fees at 2.7 million, 4%. Next is, how does the city spend that general fund revenue? IT comes in at 2.5 million, 4%. Police, 36%, or 23.1 million. Fire comes in at 5.5 million, or 9%. Community services at 8.7 million, or 14%. Public Works at 6.6 million, or 10%. Development Services, 8.4 million, or 13%. Administration at 7.3 million, at 12%. And the little guy's finance at 1.2 million, or 2%. On to the actual budget adjustments. This is a summary of what we are proposing to you tonight. That middle column are the amendments we are proposing to you tonight. That left column, the approved 22-23, that is a combination of the original budget that was created in June of 21, or approved in June 21, as well as the amendments that were approved back in August of 22. So that is a combination of the two. There you can see our original budgeted surplus was $744,000. With the amendments, we are increasing revenues by $5.3 million. Expenditures, we are increasing by $3.1 million, increasing the surplus by 2.2, and giving us a year-end projected surplus of 2.9 million. Next, we'll go into the departments. I won't go into every adjustment we're making or requesting, just more of the material items and the total for the department. Development services, requesting a total increase of $709,000, $225,000 for increased contract staffing, and $515,000 for contract services. Community services, increase of $655,000, $375,000 for increased contract staffing, $175,000 increase for parks utilities, and $25,000 for the increase in summer program. Public Works, increasing request of $626,000, $315,000 for 2 vehicles. One is a graffiti replacement vehicle, and also a hot patch truck to fix all the potholes throughout the city. $80,000 increase in auto maintenance, and $75,000 increase in fuel. IT, information technology, total increase of $512,000, $304,000 increase in salaries and benefits, $60,000 increase in office equipment, and $42,500 increase in social media. Administration, total increase of $511,000. $250,000 of that is increase in legal services, $102,000 increase in contract staffing, and $90,000 increase in professional services. Finance, total increase request of $112,000, $50,000 for contract staffing, and $40,000 for salaries overtime. And lastly, public safety, as Captain Sims just presented, the $140,000 increase in contract services for the expansion of the ShotSpotter. And this will be funded actually with savings from our police services, so it's a net zero adjustment. We simply pull it from one line item down to another. So we wanted to make that clear.
Good.
And with that, myself and the rest of the directors are available for any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Shank. Good presentation. Council, anybody have any questions?
No?
Guess we got off easy. I don't see anybody in the queue.
I'll take it when I can.
All right, thank you. Madam Clerk, do I have any requests to speak?
No, sir.
IT?
No, sir.
Anybody in the audience wishing to speak on this item? Very good. I'll entertain a motion on the item. We have a motion by Councilwoman Rogers, second by Mayor Pro Tem. Please call a vote.
5-0, motion approved.
Excellent. Item 13, Council Communications. Councilwoman Rogers.
I just want to announce that next Wednesday, March the 8th, will be the very final board meeting for Western Community Energy. We'll be putting it to bed after that meeting next Wednesday.
Great.
So looking forward to that, saying goodbye to that program. And that's all I have this evening. Thank you.
That's good enough. Thank you. Councilman Rabb.
Yes, on Sunday, I had the opportunity to briefly attend the Paris Black History Celebration at Bob Glass Gym. It was a very well-attended event. I just want to commend the Black History Committee, Paris Valley Black History Committee, for putting on a well-attended, well-thought-out event, and just hope everyone had a happy Black History Month, and looking forward to Women's History Month. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Corona.
Thank you, Mayor. I must have barely missed Councilman Rabb, but I did get to attend the African American History Expo. They're here held at the City Hall. I did start with the Unity Walk, where they walked from Mercado Park all the way down. And special thank you for the sheriffs for keeping everybody safe, keeping everyone together. Definitely appreciate it. It was a very well attended event. With the weather, they were able to adapt and come on to the gym, and so just a great event. I also did get to attend with several of my colleagues the unveiling of the Mother Language Monument event here. It was very, very well attended, especially from the Bangladeshi community. Just a great event for all people that are celebrating, trying to retain your mother language. And then with the recent rains, I just want to kind of bring to attention. I'm sure you already know, but if IT could send out that on social media about the phone number to call with regards to potholes. I know, especially around the corners of Paris Boulevard and Nuevo Road, there's some pretty bad holes over there, and weirdly enough on Mapes and Getz Road, there's about I'd say about a good 6 inches of just dirt that just kind of ran off. So it's over there on the corner of Mapes and Getz Road, and then just throughout the city, I'm sure. But yeah, so if IT could just kind of run that again, and then until tomorrow, I think we have rain, and then after that, it's clear skies. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mayor. I simply would like to thank our public comment speakers for tonight, and that's all I have. Thank you.
Man, you guys are on a roll. All right, Valverde Movell Student of the Month, always a good item. I always brag about those. We had the Paris Valley Chamber Mixer at True Care. I attended as a guest speaker for a Molly presentation at the Paris Alternative School that was on human trafficking. I was invited to that. Very good presentation by the young lady from Molly. We had a Blue Aces Car Wash grand opening ribbon cutting ceremony up in the north end. And I guess I came in between Mayor Pro Tem or Councilman Corona and Councilman Rab on the Black History Month here. So was a very good, well-attended, and thank God they made it inside the gym so that we weren't freezing outside. I also attended the Black History Month celebration along with our Economic Development Manager, Michelle Ogawa. This was presented by the Inland Empire Buffalo Soldiers, put on by Yolanda Williams. She had another great event at the Mead Valley Community Center. And Councilman Corona touched on the Mother's Language Monuments. Very excited about that, and I'm sure the Bangladesh community, as well as all our other nationalities here in our rich cultural city, get to experience that. It's a great monument to have. And just to touch on the potholes, I just want to say special thanks to Public Works team. Those guys are working tirelessly. I mean, I'm on the phone calling as everywhere I drive, and they already know about it. It's listed, and so I just continue to have our folks, our community members, please help us identify these potholes and let us know so we can get them repaired. The rain does take a toll on these roads, and mysteriously always lifts the asphalt. It's amazing. But all right, I don't want to hold this up any longer. Item 14 is our city manager's report.
Thank you, Mayor. I have one announcement, and that is that the Breakfast with Bunny and the Community Egg Hunt will take place on Saturday, April 1st on the Paris City Hall lawn. There are 2 breakfast seatings at 9 a.m. and 10:45, so please pre-register, and you can go online on the Civic Rec website. And the event is free, and it begins at 9 a.m. for children ages 12 and under. That concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you. One last item I forgot just to mention, we did put it on Facebook already, our social media, but just a reminder to all our community members that the March Field Air Show is coming this year, 2023. It'll be on April 23rd and 22nd or the 23rd. And yes, the Thunderbirds will be here both days. It's going to be probably one of the best shows they've ever had pre-COVID, so looking forward to that. Okay. Item 15 is our adjournment. This evening, we will be adjourning in memory of our fellow colleague, the City of Norco Mayor Pro Tem, Ted Hoffman, who unexpectedly passed away on February 22nd, 2023. Served with Ted on many committees. I'm sure some of my colleagues here as well, but truly a good man, and I know he will be missed in Norco, and we send our thoughts and prayers to his family as well. Thank you, everybody. We are adjourned.